Barnes, you ready?
It's Sam Brown!
Chris Hockey's in the building. Chris Hockey's in the building.
Chris Hockey just scared him!
He's got his shirt off. He's got his shirt off. Oh, my God.
You're so right. Parker's sitting there with his shirt on, and then the next time we see him, his shirt's off.
That's what I was saying. There's so much genius to that video, and it includes Max just loses his mind. Parker recognizes we're on the radio, so he starts giving play-by-play, and it's in twos. Chris Hockey is here. Chris Hockey is here, and then it's he's taking off his shirt. He's taking off his shirt. And Nick was in the back, cutting between cameras.
Yep.
And we see Max freak out. We see Parker start to do play-by-play, but Parker has his shirt on. Then he cuts to Max and Hawk, and by the time we come back to Parker is shirtless and waving it around above his head. It's just perfection.
Yeah, if that was a movie, that would be a continuity error. We just saw him. He had his shirt on.
That's so perfect.
Chris Hockey's in the building. Chris Hockey's in the building.
Chris Hockey just scared him!
He's got his shirt off. He's got his shirt off. Oh, my God.
Right. How did he get his shirt off so quick?
It's the energy that when Parker has his shirt off and he's flexing, he is 1,000% into that. He has never flexed harder in his life, and he's just going, ah!
Did you see Rosie's tweet to that post?
No.
Basically begging for more female broadcasters.
First time he's ever thought that in his whole life. Man,
there's so much pure joy in that video.
So good.
I've watched it over and over. Well done, Max and Hawk and Parker.
Thank you.
It was fantastic.
I know we're supposed to do news now and sports in a second, but can you at least give us a glimpse of what your Sunday was like? I know you said you were at the TI watch party. Everybody was hugging. Everybody was holding hands. What a strange series.
I'll just say, by the way, thank you to the St. Paul Saints.
Saints.
Thank you for sponsoring the news. We love you, St. Paul Saints. They'll be back at CHS Field soon. We'll give you all the information. Don't forget, we got Wednesdays with Bernie coming right up. Okay.
One of the strangest series I can remember, and even one of the strangest Game 7s in history, right? Historically, statistically bizarre, coming back from 20 down. Just give me your roller coaster of a Sunday night.
It was absolutely a roller coaster. And I kept waiting for us to, for the Wolves to kind of catch a rhythm and for Anthony Edwards to hit a couple of shots. And it just we looked so janky and just discombobulated, and like we were searching. We tried this and tried this and tried this, and it was not a half that we're used to seeing, especially the low scoring. I remember in Game 2 in Denver when the Nuggets had 35 points at halftime, and I couldn't get that number out of my head. It was mind blowing, and that was the game with the defense that sent the whole nation a tizzy. And we had 39, I think, at halftime, something like that.
Yep.
And so then you think, my God, we have 38 points at halftime. We could score 38 in a quarter. Right. So to go through the emotion of that and think, okay, halftime, regroup, reset. We're going to figure it out. They're going to show the video to Ant of the ways that Denver is doubling him and tripling him and throwing a guy at him, and he's going to figure it out. And then you come out and start the third quarter.
Yeah.
Worse.
Right.
It was like, no, this can't be happening. This can't be the way we go out. And I don't even really remember having conscious thoughts of, I can see it changing. I can see it changing.
Because it was so
kind of
slow,
happened so fast and was like, oh, we're down 6. It's a game. And then, we're up 1. Yeah. It was a spectacular turnaround, and it was just stop, score. Karl Anthony Towns was wonderful to keep the Wolves in it in the first half by scoring, bothering Joker, and Jamal Murray had to miss some shots. That game, I heard Chris Finch say it on PA's show that game was a microcosm of the series, and it was. A team dominated another team. And this time it only happened for a half, and then it completely switched, and the other team dominated. That doesn't happen. That series was wild, man. That could go down in history as a Netflix documentary in 10 years of It was a second-round series. It wasn't a finals. It wasn't even a conference finals. But it might have been the craziest series you've ever seen.
Yeah.
How about
And we won it!
How about Rudy Gobert in the fourth quarter? Not only did he drill a bunch of free throws, which is not something that Rudy normally does. Smart. The fadeaway shot with, 7.5 minutes ago, that was like a 4% chance of going in.
Right? Yeah,
and it did, right? That was a absolute long shot. And then also the fact that he drew so many fouls. The Wolves were in the bonus so early in the fourth.
Right.
So, man, that was a kind of a textbook definition of Rudy did all of the things that show up in the box score and the things that don't show up in the box score. Monster fourth for Rudy.
Oh, Rudy.
And Nas.
I saw a stat that he was plus 111. That was going into that game, I think, in the series.
Yeah.
Or was it in the postseason? No, it was in that series.
It was that series.
A plus 111. And you think about guys like Draymond Green, who needs to not be an analyst on TNT or
1,000,000%.
any major network, because that was and is a disgusting platform to give someone who has a personal agenda.
It would be like if the Vikings were playing in the NFC Championship game and they had Sean Payton on. Sean Payton hates the Vikings.
And they allow Sean Payton to just rip.
Butthole eyes.
What else would it be exactly like?
It would be like you, Corey Cove, reviewing my finances. It would be like Burger King telling Ronald McDonald what to do.
And that was Meat Sauce with What Else Is It Exactly Like?
Yeah, well, Draymond's obviously got it out for Rudy Gobert, but how about even Charles Barkley at halftime saying they should just bench him?
Yeah.
And somebody asked Rudy about that, like, hey, what do you think about the TNT guys? And Charles Barkley basically saying the coach should bench you in the second half. And he said, I don't listen to those guys, and I'm glad Chris Finch doesn't either.
Yeah, and just because you've played a bad half, if you've seen enough of a player and you know what a player can do, obviously, and Finchie is so smart that you're gonna ride it and expect that part of him to come out. I thought what Finchie said to PA, that was just such a good interview yesterday when he had him on right out of the show and then replayed later in the show, so you could have caught it twice. Finch said the key to that whole Denver series was Minnesota's offense. And it's such a bizarre thought because you're like, we're the number one defense in the NBA. Why is our offense? And he said it's because when we make baskets, we can set our defense. We can get the matchup we want. We can get the guys in the right spot. It's not Denver rebound, outlet, go. And now you're scrambling and you're matched up with whoever is closest to you as opposed to the right guy. So what an interesting thought that the key for Minnesota in that series, and maybe going forward, is the offense. Because we got to make shots so that our killer defense can get set.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that might be a challenge versus Dallas, right? Dallas's weakness is their defense, right? So you got to score enough so that you can set up your defense and be prepared when their guards come down and start working things. So,
Johnny Boons, you've got an NBA podcast in your future with that team.
Is that right?
What would you call it? You probably have a cute name ready to roll.
It's a good question.
Basketballs. Hold on, let me think here.
We tried to come up with one for Gleeman and Krasinski the other day, and we came up with Krasinski and the Crank. How do you like that?
Yeah. Why did you look right at me?
I like it.
Zach.
The crab.
Will you give Zach the free link?
Sauce, you were going to say something?
It wasn't going to be intelligent.
Well, I mean, that's never stopped you in the past.
I just like what Maxo said yesterday about Luka is a dynamite scorer. He just is a liability on defense. He plays one way, and they are going to take advantage of that. Giving them, 48 hours to look over the tape. Kyrie Irving and Luka are great, but they don't have the size. The Wolves throw 3 centers at you. Nobody can match this size that the Wolves have. They are going to win this series. And if they lose tomorrow, it's over. But as of right now, it's not over.
You mean if they're down at half? They're over, right?
Yeah, I might leave. But I'm just saying, the way that this lineup is set up cannot be stopped in a 7-game series. It's just too good defensively of a lineup. You may win 1 or 2 games, or like Denver did, they won 3 straight. But, the proof's in the pudding.
Is it chocolate pudding?
No, butterscotch, only good kind. Right, Hogs?
It's proof pudding.
Tapioca.
Because there's proof in it.
Tapioca is grody.
Okay.
Do not put raisins in it.
No.
Who puts raisins in pudding?
In tapioca.
That's
It's a very common thing.
That sounds like
Yes.
something my grandmother would have done,
Disgusting.
right?
Grandma
Yeah.
does that, sure.
Disgusting.
Sauce, that's a good question. You're going to go to the game tomorrow night with your lovely wife?
Yeah.
What does the deficit have to be at halftime for you to leave? If the Wolves are down by blank, you're out of there.
This will shock none of you. But on Sunday, when they were down, I said, it's over. And she said, if you're going to act like that, watch it somewhere else. Like I'm a kid. And I took a lap around the house and I sat back down and I sat in silence. And she looked at me. She said, I love you. Let's just watch the game. And we did. And they came back and then we switched to the bedroom and for the second half and they won.
All right. Tell me more.
Okay.
Let's go.
And they won.
Timberwolves weren't the only ones that scored in the second half.
It was yeah.
She's the one pretending it's not over in there.
Yeah. Oh, well played, Zach. Well played.
I'm going to miss you next week. You've been clever this week.
But, no, we'll stay the whole time.
Well, how can you give up? I mean,
I can't.
if Sunday
easily. I
isn't,
give up very easily.
but
There's no way
if
you stay
Sunday
the whole
isn't the perfect example of why you don't tweet something idiotic at halftime like this game is over.
I did tweet that. No, and I, when I'm at the game, I'll be watching it more than I would be at home.
I would hope so.
So my
But you
hands
can't walk
will be-
around and get rid of that nervous energy. You just
Oh,
gotta
I
sit
can
in
walk
that
around.
chair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't we all battle, though, head versus heart in the Denver series? Like, after game 5, obviously with my heart, I'm like, I think they could still do it. We're good enough to do this. But with your head, you're like, we just got nothing going right now. Like, the math just says this is probably going to be a really tough trek to get back in game 6 and in game 7 against a team that has figured us out right after the first 2 games of domination. 3, 4, and 5 were so heavily Denver. It just didn't make sense for the Wolves to find magic one more time, and they found it twice. It was awesome.
That is a lot of sports, though, too. The head versus heart or the walk, talk the talk kind of stuff. And I even thought, did you guys think it was a little bit crazy with, 30 seconds left when Denver was only down 6 and was not even fouling?
Couldn't believe it.
But it felt like, to your point, Corey, we had broken them.
Yeah.
We had put them in that spot where they were like, they figured us out. We can't do this. We are done. The Wolves had just turned the ball over with Carl inbounding, trying to get it to Anthony Edwards on the baseline under the Denver hoop.
Not calling a timeout.
Yep.
Should have just called the TO.
Right. And for whatever
busy.
reason.
Yep.
But Denver to be within 6 with 30 seconds to go. Sauce, how many 3-pointers is that?
I thought it was,
That's
wasn't
2.
it 7? I think it was 7. But still, even 7.
7? I feel like it was 6 at a time.
I think it was 5 because then the cat putback put him up 7.
7, right. But then that was the one that I think was
Right. And then they missed.
when they called it off.
Right.
Yeah.
Then Cat got the rebound, and I think it was 7. But Marty,
but you're
your
right about
point-
them being broken.
Your point
It
doesn't
was
change,
6. It was 96-90 with 13 seconds left.
though. Okay, 13 seconds left.
But there
Okay,
was
but
also
I said 30.
seconds.
You're right. So
But my
30
point,
seconds
but
left, they
honestly,
were-
it doesn't even matter because the
at
point
30
is the
seconds,
same.
it was
It's
7. Yeah.
with 30 seconds to go, they wave the white flag.
Yeah.
And sure, head versus heart, right? The head says, well, this game's over. But this is the last 30 seconds of your season. Why not give full effort? And if it doesn't work,
Right.
and it probably won't, then you go home.
Joker full
I don't
on
understand
meat-sauced
it. Meat sauced it.
Yeah.
Even at 13 seconds left, when it's 96-90, if you steal the inbounds and hit a 3,
Reggie Miller.
holy.
Right.
Right.
Our entire generation will always remember that game. Reggie Miller, scored 9 points 8 or 9 points in the final 20 seconds?
Yeah.
And that gives anybody hope. If you just play super hard press defense and force a couple of turnovers and have a sharpshooter, something crazy can happen.
It happened in the first round this year, right?
The Knicks and the
Knicks were down by
Corey brought
5.
that up.
in
Yeah, Corey brought
Philadelphia.
that up yesterday. And,
Knicks Philly, right?
and Tracy McGrady, I think, did he did 13 points in 13 seconds or something like that one time. So it's possible.
weird.
I just don't get the 30-second white flag
Yeah,
at
me
all.
neither.
But
And I
whatever,
think-
Yeah,
we'll
and I
take it.
wonder if that is just what happens when you break a team, when you break their spirit, it doesn't seem logical or probable, because we could even have that effect on the team, but certainly Michael Malone is still thinking like a coach and doing math, and It was bizarre.
How many times in the last half of the fourth quarter did Jokic even go underneath the basket?
Right. He looked tired.
He looked.
Yeah.
He was staying out. No, he's staying out at the 3 in part because he wanted to get some 3-point shots like they were behind. But also, he just wasn't even. He just wasn't banging anymore.
Pushed around, man.
Yeah.
Well, by the way, the fact that the Nuggets just said, "All right, this is over. We're beat down. There's 30 seconds to go." I didn't love the Jaden McDaniels bounce dunk attempt. Right, and the Nuggets didn't care for that. It's like they've given up. They've waved the white flag. Yeah, probably not super smart to try to showboat and dunk it on them. Just run out the clock. They're not going to shoot. You shouldn't shoot. That's kind of the gentleman's agreement, right? The game's over. No more scoring unless I don't know. Didn't love that. But
well, he's probably and he's not thinking straight. There's probably a euphoria that is just waiting to burst out of him, and it's his first real stretch of the playoffs. I mean, he was not part of the playoffs last year, even in against Denver, because he punched the wall and broke his hand. And,
meat sauce.
You're not wrong, Corey. I can see where it happens.
If Denver just lets him dunk it and doesn't try to defend it, I kind of get it. But Denver, I forget who was the defender who tried to go up and block it, but it was basically like, "Hey, a-hole, like the game, we quit. Yeah, what are you doing?" Yeah.
It was Jamal Murray.
All right. Yeah, they probably weren't big fans of that either. And
no,
they can talk about it still all off season long.
Yeah, they can talk about it in Mexico when they're out.
Sauce, we'll talk more sports when we get back because you're going to run us through it.
Bye.
Bye, Johnny Bones.
See you, kids.
Love you.
The Fan.
Ladies and gentlemen, the game is tomorrow. That's game 1. Here's Mike Conley Jr. on Dallas.
It's going to be a heck of a challenge. They're obviously led by Luka and Kyrie. I think they got better adding a couple wing defenders and two-way players like PJ Washington and, having Gafford, another big that can roll and, be on the glass, stuff like that to help with their spacing. And, there's going to be a great series of, attrition and, who can implement their will in the games and who can implement their style in the game.
How about them Wolves?
That's right.
Hell yeah, man.
Hi, Roser.
Good morning. Got to get the microphone in front of me here. Hi.
You're wearing a Timberwolves kind of pullover or whatever you got there?
Yeah, I got that months ago.
I guess a zipper.
Yeah. You got to represent.
You got to represent.
Yeah.
I'm with you, man.
I'm actually wearing it to Denver on Friday. I'm going out there for my sister's birthday, and I'm going to wear it.
The series is over.
Yeah, they already
It is?
Denver.
Yeah.
Oh,
Are you going to have to rub it in? That ain't nice.
That's okay. It's like when you walk through the airport and you see after like a tough Viking loss to the Packers, and all those cheeseheads are wearing Packer paraphernalia
at the bar.
Well, that's all they own.
Yeah.
Though.
Well, that's true. That's a good point.
Yeah.
That is a good point.
That's work attire.
Yeah.
So I plan on doing the same thing. Like I don't remember how the series ended, but anyway, hi everybody.
Hi.
Everybody's in a good mood.
Hey.
My God.
Yeah, pretty cool, man.
It is long time waiting. KG said he's coming back. I don't know when, but he said he's coming back.
Told Stephen A. Smith he's going to both Boston games and Minnesota games.
Marney
He
said
claims.
he wasn't welcome.
No, incorrect.
Wow.
Incorrect.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would love to see him.
I think everyone would. Well, maybe one person wouldn't.
He
But
should sit next to Glenn.
that would be.
Hold hands the entire game.
Yeah.
Like with a bunch of chickens.
Now, did KG say he was going to the Minnesota series or to Minneapolis?
Good
because
point.
what if he shows up in Dallas for games 3 and 4?
Good
Possible.
point. I guess I'd have to listen back. I listened to that clip, but I wasn't listening for that part of it. I just when
I
he
thought
said
he-
he's going to go to both.
Made it sound like he was coming here, but it was such a short clip.
But maybe that's just in our heads that we just assumed he was coming
Yeah.
here.
Why would he go to Dallas?
Now, I feel like I know KG hasn't he been to Target Center? I have a strong
Yeah,
vision.
he played there for a while.
Brilliant.
He knows how to get there.
I think he saw JoJo Siwa there.
But I have him sitting like on the baseline under the hoop. He came back for
game?
for something.
Boy,
and I can't remember
He's got
what it
good
was.
memory if that's the case.
All right. Well,
I just remember
in
him.
any case,
He's tight with Red Panda, so he shows up for a lot of the halftime shows.
Okay, yes, that
the
makes
Vikings?
sense.
And then
That makes
immediately
sense.
leaves.
I remember him
Brilliant.
being on stage with Janet Jackson, and Janet Jackson had him on the chair.
Oh.
Oh yeah, he was. She does that bit in her concert, and KG was the victim. I use that term loosely.
Now, when you say she does that bit, is it a stand-up routine?
Yeah, kind of a stand-up routine.
It's a lot of target jokes.
Seductive,
that's not bad.
Seductive move, dance with the person on the chair, and have to be KG.
Where do you rank Janet in terms of the attractiveness level of the Jackson family?
I think I'd put her number 1 at that time.
Ahead of LaToya?
Yes.
What about Jermaine? What about Tito?
I just saw MJ the musical last week. It was wonderful,
LaToya
by the way. Oh, my God. What a show.
When she was alive, Woodhawk.
What?
Yeah, she was in Playboy. Of course.
Yes.
LaToya Jackson.
Yeah, she wasn't she?
You answered that quickly.
I'll tell you what, Janet has some bangers.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, she does, Maren.
She's coming back to town.
She still got moves.
Sometimes I'll hear, I'll be in a shopping mall or whatever, and just where they have they're playing Sirius XM or something like that, and I'll hear a Janet Jackson song, and I'll be like, God, this is a good song. Mm-hmm. And then I'll go play Janet Jackson and be like, oh, banger.
Before you know it, you're topless.
June 18th.
Swinging it around.
June 18th, she's what? She's in Minneapolis?
XL Energy Center with Nelly opening up.
Oh, sweet. I saw her last year with Ludacris, and she was awesome. She's still got dance moves, man. She's
Does she bring anyone up on the stage and put them in a chair?
No, she did that to me after the show.
Championship series will still be going on during that time, so the heck.
She's 58.
Wow.
Yeah,
it was crazy. They did like a whole little montage at the beginning of her show, and you realize, obviously, she's a Jackson. She grew up in the show business, but just seeing how long that she has been a part of it, like she was a kid, and I think it was Good Times. She was an actress before she was really a big singer. Right. So it's just crazy to see how long she's been doing this and that she still even wants to do it.
Also, the talent level in that family is unbelievable.
Right.
Because you have a family of just any random family that has 3 or 4 kids. They're a smart one and there's a pretty one and there's, but to have them basically all be performers of some kind
it's
and
a
be
burden.
Really good.
Actually,
is it,
they
Corey?
did a good job of
really?
It's a burden.
I'm just saying, the genetics don't always flow through to the kids. Even you have good athletes who marry and have kids, and only one of the kids ends up being a really good athlete. That kind of genetic flow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
He's not listening.
I'm listening. Genetic flow, athletes, Janet Jackson, Cher, Rosie.
You heard.
There you go.
Connecting the dots.
Sauce, would you like to do sports news?
I would love to.
Right now?
Sure, Daddy.
It's time for Fan 5 on the Power Trip, presented by All Around Property Preservation.
Yeah! Thank you, Gary. Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals is tomorrow at 7:30, and our Minnesota Timberwolves are in it. They battle the Dallas Mavericks. The Wolves are -4.5. The over-under is 207.5. The pregame starts with Maxo at 6:30. They will also do Fan Line after the game. Game 1 tomorrow of the Western Conference Finals is in Minnesota.
Maxo got to dress in layers.
Can't be shirtless at the Target Center.
Every game is 1 through 7, if there are 7. Every game is at 7:30.
That's beautiful.
So
That's
it is
sweet.
easy to keep
That's
track.
that's good to know because it's an odd time. Normally it starts at 7, but in this case, 7:30 is perfect. It helps everybody get a chance to get downtown.
That TNT pregame show at 7 o'clock is pretty entertaining for a lead-in. So let's settle in.
Draymond should get booed if he's anywhere near anyone around him.
He shouldn't be broadcasting.
You are correct. I 100% agree with you.
I know TNT may lose the contract. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on with that behind the scenes, but it's irresponsible for them to put.
And Draymond just came up.
Yeah,
on our TV here.
I assume he's going to soften his stance on Gobert in particular. I think he will. I think he kind of did already.
Incorrect.
No, I doubt it. He will not. He hates him.
He has a personal agenda.
He does.
And if Rudy, let's say, only played 10 minutes and a half, and Anthony Edwards had 45 points at halftime, and Ernie would say, Draymond, what did you think of Anthony Edwards in the first half? I go, well, I don't know, because I was too busy watching Rudy struggle. And he would turn it because he has a personal agenda, and he's not
Well, why did they
being
select him?
I don't know.
I mean, he's a guy that's...
He's a name.
But he's
drawing viewers.
Wired
I don't know.
wrong. He should have... the suspensions, he took a leave of absence because he had some anger management issues. We've seen it happen not just with Rudy Gobert, with other players, and had been suspended and everything else where he's hurting his own team. This is a guy that you want. Yeah. I mean, look at all the players that aren't playing right now that probably want to get into broadcasting. They want to do this stuff. Draymond Green's the guy they pick.
It is a little strange because
I don't
it's ESPN
that.
Too, or as well. I should say ESPN and TNT are both using him, which means I don't know if there's an appeal, but it is an odd sort of person that you would want to elevate and give a platform to. Not that he doesn't deserve second chances, we all do, but I feel like he's had a second, third, fourth, and fifth. And it's maybe a person you say, you know what, he maybe isn't in the best frame of mind to objectively just analyze basketball.
Well, it's also nice. It would be nice, Barkley's outspoken about everything, to say, challenge him on it. Say, look don't you have a personal vendetta against Rudy Gobert based on this? And then show the video again. Those guys aren't afraid of going after the big issues, and Barkley certainly isn't. I would think he would be challenged. And when Rudy got lit up by Joker, I mean, again, another point would be, well, tell us what it's like to guard the guy, because based on his statistics against you, you didn't have any more luck guarding the Joker than Rudy Gobert did in those games.
Yeah. Right now, that would be a perfect way to be an analyst. That's
exactly. Then he'd let him answer. He would show me a lot more if he said, "Yeah, you know what? I got my ass kicked from this guy. He's that good when he's locked in, and that's just the way it is. You got to keep him away from the basket, whatever it is."
Yeah, he's just too close to the game still to give any real analysis. And I didn't watch. Obviously, I wasn't keen. I was young. I didn't watch when Charles Barkley and Shaq first started, but I'd imagine it might have been a little bit similar because they were kind of firecracker type of guys too. And I'd imagine a lot of people ask the same questions, like who the hell put a microphone in front of Charles Barkley, But I think hopefully Draymond will mature. But I mean, like Marney said, we've given him lots of chances.
Correct.
But maybe when he's done playing the game, he can take a step away. And nobody, as much as we all know here how valuable Rudy is, nobody in the media is going to come to his defense. Charles and Shaq have been pretty critical of him too. So, they've also shown that they will admit that they're wrong. So hopefully they come around. But yeah, Draymond is it's so biased against Rudy. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, Austin Rivers is on here, and he's a couple of years removed, so maybe that's all it takes. But also, he wasn't such a controversial player. So
no.
Is he Phillips' son?
Brilliant.
He's got like 20 of them.
Vikings news kind of is next. This is the Power Trip Morning Show. Marney, Gellner, and Mark Rosen are here on the Fan.
Rock out to some of the greatest hits of the 90s at Rockfest. Catch some of the greatest hits from bands like Slipknot, Metallica, Linkin Park, Alice in Chains, and more from the Chris Hockey Band, Matt Kirkwald, and a band of heavy metal misfits. It'll take the stage at the Summerfield Amphitheater on June 1st. Tickets are on sale now at musicroom.com, but caller 11 will win their way in with a pair of tickets. 1-800-320-5326. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you. It's going to be great. And we're selling T-shirts to benefit the Reach Foundation to help out the kids who are battling anxiety and depression and other issues. So we're raising money for Reach, and we're having a good time. We're rocking out. It's going to be fun. Chris Hockey Man's going to open the show, and then we're going to get all heavy and gross and fun. It's going to be a lot of fun under the sunshine. Well, the moonshine, I guess, because it's going to be night. Anyway, come on out. June 1st, please. Thank you. All right, Rosie.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree 100%.
Thank you, buddy.
It's a great cause.
It's going to be fun. We're going to have some fun for
absolutely.
a good cause. It's going to be great. Here we go. We're going to do some Vikings news.
It's time for Vikings news on the Power Trip, presented by
Your truck accessories pro.
The Vikings are super pumped that the Timberwolves are in the Western Conference Finals.
The Twins are really pumped to play.
Well said, Rose.
Yeah, no,
the Vikings.
We got OTAs going on, but I mean, look, Jefferson's not there.
He's not there.
No contract yet.
That won't happen end of July.
Oh, you're saying end of July? You're calling your shot? End of July?
Yes.
So right before camp or
it might be right around that time. I think there's a strategic and also I don't know. There's some sort of
There's a reason why you would not do it in May?
I mean, there are reasons probably you could do it in May, but I mean, based on what heard is that might be don't be surprised if it's not till the end of July is what I'm saying.
A.J. Brown of the Eagles set the receiver market after agreeing to a 3-year, $96 million deal last month.
Sauce, how much is he making a year?
3 years, $96 million.
That's right.
He is making $32 million a year.
Very nice.
Take that,
Hang
Captain
on.
Beady Eyes.
Hang on.
Oh,
Captain.
You've been up to
He's a
you're
captain
now?
now. Yeah.
Wow, dude, congratulations.
Paul?
Yes.
Yeah, that's not
something right.
Thank you, Dad. And I was half listening.
Yeah.
Seems to be the theme of this hour.
Seems to be the theme of this hour.
Well, you said it just like
not only A.J. Brown, but Amon-Ra St. Brown of the Detroit Lions, 30? I think it was 30 a year, right? So we get more guys joining the 30 million club. But when Tyreek Hill set the market at 30 million, I think people all assumed Justin was going to ask for 35 plus.
Yeah.
So I doubt that's changed now that we have more guys in the $30 million club. My guess is it's in the top half of the 30s. That's what he's asking for. I don't know if he's going to get it, but
I bet he does.
You guys want to give him anywhere near 40 million?
No.
A year?
No.
It's not our money.
The market's getting higher and higher.
But again, I don't believe the salary cap exists. I think it's a scam.
In a lot of ways, it's skirted, yes.
I think it's fun for everybody to talk about. I don't know if we have enough money. You just sign whoever you want. They figure it out. There's loopholes.
They do.
They just kick the can.
Yep,
I think we're still paying Demetrius Underwood for his camp appearance.
What?
I think so.
Was Starr on that team when they drafted him?
No.
No.
Well, yeah,
was 99.
Yeah, then he was, right?
He was still here, I think.
Was he?
What a great moment
Wasn't Starr's
that was.
last year?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
If only there was a way.
Only way of looking it up, yeah. What a moment that was. Demetrius walked into the lunchroom and then left, and nobody knew what happened to him.
He exhausted.
He took
He's
a
scared,
cab
man.
back to the Twin Cities.
Poor guy. He was just scared.
Yeah, 99 was his last year.
Was it? Yeah, Denny did not want to bring him back, and then he did. He was at the state fair with us, and he basically cut him, and Starr came, and he said, well, I think we need a long snapper.
Well, yeah.
I remember that. Yep.
So there you go. That's Vikings news. Thank you.
Thanks, Vikings news.
Radko,
Yeah, they're
love
out there
you.
running
And
around.
right they are.
and
Get it
J.J.
all
McCarthy
figured out.
and Sam Darnold is here, and basically the whole gang is here, but except for J.J.
I wonder who will be front row Target Center tomorrow night.
Yeah, great question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson.
Probably. I think the Vikings have a suite, so I bet a bunch of the guys will be there.
Jordan Addison was at the game 6?
Yes.
Ish?
Yeah.
You know they always say Jaden McDaniels has never smiled, right? Like he just has that face.
the same
Even if
look.
he's super happy.
Yeah.
I feel Jordan Addison's the same way. I don't think I've ever seen Jordan Addison smile. That all those photos that went viral of him sitting courtside by the Wolves,
miserable.
he looked miserable. It's like, dude, you got the Rosen seats. Put a smile on your face.
Right. Not quite.
Want to know how I got these scars? Let's go. You look happy, man. Let's go.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But a smile.
Jordan's just got one of those faces. Just never looks happy. I hope he is.
Yeah, I hope so. I think
Just
he
doesn't
is.
look like he is.
He looked
I'm
pretty
sure
happy
he
when he signed
is.
his contract.
Maybe he's still bummed about his dog, who
Well, we
survived.
never did find out.
Yeah, man.
Some of the worst journalism in the history of the Twin Cities was
correct.
not continuously asking
Jordan about the dog.
what was wrong with the dog. How is the dog?
Correct.
You said you were going 1,000 miles an hour because of the dog.
vet.
What happened?
Yeah, we never heard the
We
end
never
of the
got to the
story.
bottom of it.
No.
In the world,
pictures of him
you never
walking the
know.
dog anywhere. No.
Good point.
Running
Maybe the
with the
dog.
dog.
Maybe he didn't
Probably
even
on
have
OnlyFans.
one.
Yeah.
Now, Paul Allen lets his cats out in the backyard.
Oh,
Yep. He has
man.
housebroken cats.
That has nothing to do with what we were just talking about, but this is technically Vikings news, and PA is the voice of the Vikings.
It's an interesting tidbit. Yes.
Doesn't he walk his cats on leashes?
He does.
Has.
Yes. Yeah,
Oh,
he does.
my.
Yep.
Well,
Never in a million years would I do that. No.
well, why not? Would you not
Because-
just walk your cat?
Because they don't deserve it. They haven't earned it.
They haven't earned it. No,
Yeah, that's right.
I had a cat in my house that went outside just because she just loved to go outside and then would hide and then play hide and seek. And I'd say, look, you got 5 minutes to come into the house, otherwise I'm locking the door.
Did
and
she
going
have
to
her
bed."
watch on?
Yeah.
Yes, she did. She did. Just catting around.
How did that cat respond to an English deadline?
Not very well.
So didn't understand what you were threatening with? That she had a 5-minute countdown clock?
They certainly have their own internal clock when it's time to eat. That's for sure.
Damn right.
They sure do. Oh, man.
I just think if you're walking your cat, you're losing your mind.
Yeah.
I'm not anti-cat. I'm just pro-dog, but it just looks like a psycho move.
Like the kid thing, they have the little strollers. And I go, oh, what a cute, it's a cat.
Cat stroller.
And they have
maybe it's just a really hairy kid.
Yeah.
With whiskers. Yes,
yeah,
of course.
never know, man.
Yeah.
Freak.
This is Viking news.
Yeah, it's Viking news.
We're talking about PA.
Freak. Yeah. The voice of the Vikings.
Yeah.
Lots of
his cat.
Lots to break down there.
Ain't that the truth? All right. Thanks, guys.
Yep.
All right. What else you got?
You got any more sports news? We didn't really get to much last segment. What else you got that's good?
I can do more.
I have a sports news story that I don't know if you guys have talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Hawk?
Yeah?
Come on now. I think it is fascinating, and it involves a little bit of Las Vegas, a lot of bit of Las Vegas and some gambling. And have you talked about the Las Vegas Tourism Authority? So almost like the CVB, whatever. The Las Vegas Tourism Authority is giving each Las Vegas Aces player, every single one of them, top to bottom, $100,000.
What?
$100,000.
I saw the headline.
As a sponsorship for this summer and next summer. And now the league is looking into it, like saying this is unfair. And the players are like, I only make $60,000, and they're trying to give me $100,000, and you're trying to tell me I can't take it.
Why is it unfair?
Yeah.
Because now it's a competitive advantage for like signing free agents and.
How is it different though?
Yeah, hello.
I'm not arguing this. I'm just asking the question. How is it different than them all technically getting sponsorships from the same shoe company? Like if Nike was I want these 12 gals to be Nike people. How is it different? I understand.
I guess maybe because it hasn't happened. Nike hasn't said not only are these 12 here are shoes. I mean, shoes and $100,000 in cash are different. And it hasn't happened in the WNBA yet. And what the Tourism Bureau in Las Vegas is saying is, this was a quote from them: the offer is simple. We just want you to play. We want you to keep repping Las Vegas. And if you get a three-peat, that's icing on the cake.
Oh.
So that's all it is.
Yeah. Mars, how do you feel about just, I think
it should reach the broadcasters. That's how I feel about it. What now?
Caitlin Clark clearly has exponentially increased the timeline of this, but what if moving forward the WNBA is essentially just NIL?
That's what this is.
But that's what I'm saying is maybe we just have to find a way to rip the Band-Aid off and say, we're never going to be able to pay these gals from the league $6, $7, $8 million a year. But if they can get millions on the side, why are we stopping them from doing that? Let them do it any way they want.
Well said.
So these are pros. These aren't college kids. I don't know. Unless there's something that we're completely missing, I don't see what the problem with this is.
The only thing I can see the league saying, it gives that team a huge competitive advantage, because if you play in a market that just doesn't have the businesses that care or support or whatever, like how is, Atlanta, let's say, which obviously has great businesses, but the Atlanta Dream is not tied in with the Atlanta Hawks and has played in an arena, 30 miles out of downtown Atlanta. It just hasn't been a great WNBA town. Who's ever going to want to go and sign a free agent contract to play with a team where you're like, well, they don't have, NIL, whatever it is. It's like, how are you going to play for the Golden Gophers?
Everything you just said is also the case in college basketball and college football.
Yes.
That's what's happening.
It is 100%. But right now, it's only one team, and maybe that's the problem. But they've actually already signed the contract. The players already signed this contract. The Las Vegas Tourism Authority already made the announcement. They put out a video. So it's gotten so much publicity. I don't know how you pull it back now. And if you're the WNBA and you step in and say, we don't allow this. If I'm the player at the end of the bench, or even a rookie making $60,000, I'm like, how are you stepping in and telling me I can't make $100,000? That's a massive deal to almost all of the WNBA. There's a small percentage that are in like the 200,000 range. The rest, $100,000 is huge.
Yes.
So this, because it's Las Vegas, I just find it so interesting. Like, what a connection.
Well, why don't the Lynx get bringyass.com to give them some money? Explore Minnesota.
Whatever it takes. Now, will this light the fire of NIL type deals? And will there be any regulation? Because they're in college, there's no regulation, right?
No.
For football, men's basketball, it's just if you can get the dollars and bring the players in, go for it. There's no cap.
If they have some sort of revenue sharing, because given what the Caitlin Clark effect on attendance, Marney, as you know, even like I watched some of last night's game, they were playing at home last night, but every arena that she's playing in is filled, and they sometimes, as you know, they're going to bigger arenas because their own arena can't hold the capacity that they need for that game. And I don't think a lot of it's trickling down to the players. Probably the owners are pocketing most of it, but it's certainly helping the league, maybe allowing them, as you say, to take the charter flights now. But her effect on this league is the players should be, that's the way that with the pro golfers, even though it's an independent kind of thing. When Tiger started doing what Tiger did,
he changed everything.
Changed the television ratings, changed everything.
And all of that is tied to money.
Right.
TV ratings, sold out arenas, all of that
sponsorships
leads to money.
Everything. And Caitlin's, taking a beating right now. Yeah. I mean, physically taking a beating when I say that.
And when is the last time she lost 4 games in a row or started a season 0-4? Because that's where she is right now.
Their team's not that good. That's the problem.
Yeah, well, that's how they got her.
That's how they got her, because they were not that good. Yeah.
So she signed a deal with Gainbridge Fieldhouse, which is where the Indiana Pacers play, and of course the Indiana Fever, before she was even drafted. But that is an endorsement deal. That is for
That's
her.
different than this.
And if Gainbridge Fieldhouse came in and said, we're going to pay every player on the roster $100,000, now all of a sudden that's an appealing place where you get a really good free agent in the W who's like, well, I'm either going to play for Vegas or Indiana. Now you start building a team around that kind of incentive. Where this leads could be fascinating.
It is fascinating.
Well said, Mark.
Yep. Get that cash.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, get that cash.
Get it from Vegas. The rest of us give our money to Vegas.
Not
Let those ladies take it.
That's why they have it. They're like, Corey Cove has played in a lot of card tournaments. We're going to do something good with this money.
Again, I'm a philanthropist, just passively.
So what happens if a player gets traded? Like, do you take the $100,000 with you, and then the player who comes in also gets the $100,000?
Good question.
That's the NIL thing too, and it's you sign a contract.
But you don't usually.
Good question.
If you go to the transfer portal, it doesn't happen in the middle of the season. Whereas you could get traded in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
Well, that's the Las Vegas Tourism Board gambling as well.
Or in the W, you have players on your roster, like the Lynx still have Dorka Juhas playing overseas. When she comes back, a player on the current roster will probably get cut.
Yeah.
Well, what would happen in Las Vegas? Would she get the $100,000? She's out here playing. She's repping Las Vegas for you.
Then you go put it on Black 22 and spin the wheel and see what happens.
Let's go.
8 o'clock hour of the Power Trip Morning Show will feature Fan 5 headlines and more. Marney Gellner is here. Mark Rosen is here. This is the Power Trip.